Mr. Men and Little Miss visit Alsace. The Mr. Men and Little Misses have decided to have a new adventure in France. They decided on Alsace, famous for its Christmas markets, half-timbered houses, and its crafts. Yeah, man! Looks like we're going to enjoy this one, man! Hey, I can't read this. This is all so long for me.
Yep, this here's the best looking place so far. Who knows what we'll see here in this quaint little place?
Mr. Cheerful was excited about this Alsatian escapade, while Mr. Grumble complained about how cold it was. Me like snow, Mr. Grumble. Oh, it's me favourite. Hey, you call this a favourite? It's so blooming cold around here. Here, why don't you have me scarf? It'll keep you nice and warm. Don't count on it, Mr. Snow. The snow had fallen and laid a fine carpet of white on the ground and the roofs and the houses. And Mr. Bump went and slipped and fell flat on his face when he arrived in Strasbourg. Ouch!
Should have bought some boots, Mr. Bump. Y'all be seeing stars now.
Oh, now you're telling me, little Miss Helpful! The Mr. Men and Little Misses began by visiting the cathedral and climbed the 330 steps that took them to the top.
Phew! It ain't much as when y'all went to northern France, Mr. Grumble. Remember that?
Hey, don't get me started on that, little Miss Helpful. As they admired the panoramic view of Strasbourg, with the Vosges in the distance, they heard a little voice calling out, "Help me! Help me!" They looked up and saw Mr. Small flying up into the sky between the talons of a stork.
Uh-oh, we got to get Mr. Small back, and I never even had the head for heights. Never ever.
Well, would you look at that? Mr. Small's been taken away by a big old bird. We gotta find him. But how are we gonna do that?
Fear not, everyone. All we need to do is put our heads together and figure the plan to get our miniature friend back.
Well, I'll be darned,
cried Miss Helpful.
Well, I will say this. It is rather intriguing to see a stork at this time of year, for they usually migrate to warmer climates around this time of the year,
said Miss Brainy.
The stork must have lost its family. Let's go and look for it,
exclaimed Mr. Brett. But where do they begin? Do you have any idea where they should start looking?
How can we find a stork in the middle of the cold city? It will take age to find it.
They began their quest at the Christmas market. Among the pottery and gingerbread stalls, they came across St. Nicholas.
Pardon me, St. Nicholas, but have you seen our good friend Mr. Small?
Queried little Miss Careful. Oh, not at all, replied St. Nicholas, but I recommend you look at the brioche stand he could be hiding there. Odd man, this'll be a real snap. I don't think I like the sound of that. I don't know, I'll give it a try.
Looks mighty tasty, Mr. Cheerful. Maybe I'll get one of them dear gingerbread men too.
On the good advice of St. Nicholas, the Mr. Men and Little Misses took part in the gingerbread man making workshop. Little Miss Dotty ate them, even though they weren't even ready. But Mr. Small was nowhere to be seen. I don't feel like making biscuits today.
Y'all don't mind if I lend a hand, huh, little Miss Careful? As indeed you may, little Miss Helpful. We have to make sure it's intricately made for the right texture, size, and flavor. We wouldn't want anything bad to happen, wouldn't we?
Yum, yum, yum. Tastes pretty good when it's raw.
Hey, come on, little Miss Dotty baby. You're not supposed to eat the dough like that, baby. I should know, 'cause I got terrible stomach poisoning from it. Then they visited the European Parliament to investigate the disappearance of Mr. Small and the stork. Little Miss Star, who never misses out on putting herself forward, took the microphone on stage of the large hemicycle in front of the stunned crowd.
My fellow people, we are looking out for our good friend Mr. Small. If you know his whereabouts, please do not hold back about it.
But there was no answer, except for Miss Lazy, who was sound asleep in an armchair. Wake me when we find him, little Miss Star. We shall continue our search elsewhere, suggested Mr. Clever. Mr. Small could be anywhere as far as the crow flies. He might be in a more tropical region. Then they came across a Windstub, which is a traditional Alsatian restaurant. The Miss Men and Little Misses were impressed by the delightful aroma of cooking. They decided to settle down for lunch and enjoy delicious tart flambé and kugelhopf. Little Miss Princess found the brioche cake was very pretty and decided to wear it as a crown.
Hee, I could be the princess of sweet pastries. I will definitely govern this sweet kingdom with all grace and sweetness. Hee hee.
Undoubtedly, Your Highness.
I gotta admit, Your Highness, I certainly wouldn't mind being a royal subject of sweet pastryland.
Ha ha! That looks like fun, little Miss Princess. Could I be head of the royal entertainment?
Feeling rather stuffed, they resumed their search aboard their electric-powered minivan, heading for Hout Koningsburg Castle. The Mr. Men and Little Misses went through the rooms and corners of the castle up to the keep, where they could observe the plain of Alsace, in search of their good friend Mrs. Wall. They were guided by Little Miss Magic, who told stories of knights and dragons.
It is said that in the old days, knights and dragons may or may not have gotten along well, which is why some of them were slain and others were kept as royal bodyguards. Fascinating, I know.
As indeed they are. You certainly know your lore when it comes to the old myths and legends, Little Miss Magic. Which is more than what I can say about myself, I'll admit.
I will admit, that castle sure does look very hard. Who knows what we'll find inside it?
Couldn't be more scarier than living in those dark times, wouldn't you say, Mr. Brave?
Mr. Jelly was horrified when he came face to face with a knight in shining armour.
Oh, help!
I got you good, didn't I?
Said Little Miss Trouble, removing the helmet. From the top of the castle turret, they saw the bird flying in the distance. The Mr. Men and Little Misses then took to the ridge road to follow that trail. When they reached the top, they were able to follow the trail. When they got to the very top, they were able to admire the view of the Grand Ballon Massif. It was then that Little Miss Princess saw the stork in the sky, landing in the valley.
Goodness! It's Mr. Small! We found him at long last!
Help! Get me down from here! Ah!
Without further ado, Little Miss Brave and Mr. Adventure ran down the slope to find their friend.
We got this, Mr. Adventure. Our good friend Mr. Small will be reunited with us before we know it. Let's find that stork and send it to Bermuda.
Great! I'll grab my stuff! I'm sorry to say that they couldn't find him anywhere when they reached the bottom. Oh, great! We can't find him! Oh no! Not again! Where, Mr. Worry?
By Jupiter, how about we go see the sights of steam engines in Mulhouse?
Suggested Little Miss Inventor.
Mr. Small likes steam engines, and maybe it will give me an idea for a new invention.
While Little Miss Inventor was sketching in a notebook, Mr. Clumsy, who sat in a locomotive, accidentally pressed a button, making it let off steam with a deafening din. Crikey, what was that, mate? Did I press the wrong one or something? Little Miss Naughty thought it was very amusing and laughed a lot.
Now that's what I call letting off steam, huh, Mr. Clumsy?
She wasn't one to fix her friend's errors.
Oh, it's in my face! Get it away from me!
Whoa there, Mr. Clumsy. Letting off steam is one thing. This is another thing entirely.
When I see to do something, nothing can ever go right, cobbers! After all that, the Mr. and Little Misses sat down in the brassiere for a little rest. They sipped warm apple juice and tasted some pretzels, all the while studying the map of the region in search of Mr. Small and the Stork. Hey, come on, let's have a pretzel, man!
I am so going to use this drinking straw as a dart gun and spray juice in Mr. Cheerful's face. Then he won't be pleased to be here.
It was then that a folk band set up on a small stage and began to play their tunes. Feeling very delighted by the show, Little Miss Sunshine joined in with them and tried on an Alsatian costume.
Yay, let's join in with the music, everyone!
The Mr. Men and Little Misses resumed their search and took to the road through the vineyards. As they passed through the quaint little village of Rikahuia, they admired all the fabulous-looking half-timbered houses. Then Miss Muddle exclaimed, "It's the Thieves' Tower! The Stork is probably up there!" "No, Mr. Muddle, you've got it all wrong as always," replied Miss Clever. "A thief is someone who takes things without permission. Not on flies in the sky. Now let's continue looking for Mr. Small, shall we?"
It certainly is quaint around here.
Maybe I'll take the decorations down and sell them to Mr. Snooty and Little Miss Splendid. Then no one will be in the festive spirit.
Makes you wonder how they actually built this place.
Why don't we go to Colmar? There's a quaint little home that might be ideal for Mr. Small,
suggested Little Miss Brainy. So they did. But no one was in there. As the Mr. Men and Little Misses were walking near the canals, Mr. Chatterbox then said, "Hey, check it out, look up on that chimney, but I think I could be wrong, but though I may be right, who knows? Maybe the fact of the matter is that there's a salt nest upon it, and I can see something red with a hint of blue in it, there's no doubt it may be Mr. Muddle or right, or furthermore, Mr. Tall went to go and see. And bless us all, there is Mr. Small in the middle of the nest.
Hey, I'm glad you're here.
Now, don't you worry, Mrs. Small, I got you. There you go, brother." The Stork was never seen again, for she had returned to her family. Freed from the nest, Mr. Small recounted the extraordinary journey he had experienced. He said that a stork's life, a life of sailing in the sky in a dreamlike essence, was very pleasant and friendly, really. The Mr. Men and Little Misses were delighted to be reunited with their good friend, and that evening they tucked into sausages and sauerkraut.
Oops, I got it spelled date.
Eee, this is super tasty!
I think I could probably eat the whole thing, really.
Job well done, everyone. Let's get stuck in.
Now that certainly is tasty. Sausage and sauerkraut. Yummy, yummy, yum.
We sure have had a mighty fine day out here in Alsace, haven't we? Let's get stuck into this big old feast now.
Me like sausage and sauerkraut. Oh, it's me favourite. Yeah, boy.
You know, this isn't half bad. Unless if I were to start a food fight.
It was a magical night, with the fresh aroma of gingerbread and cinnamon pervading around France.
And as they say in France, Joyeux Noël!